So let's see about objects. Okay, so objects, the important concepts in JavaScript or any object-oriented programming. Okay, so we have a primitive data type, right? These are the primitive data types: string, number, boolean. These are all primitive data types. Okay, see this primitive data, right? These are immutable, which means you cannot change the value, right? You can change the value of x here, but you cannot change the value of 3.14. 3.14 is always 3.14. Okay, so these are the values, these are the types. Okay, so what is object, what is the purpose of object? Okay, see the difference, like this is a variable, right? X is a variable, right? It shows this value. Similarly, objects are also variables. Okay, but the only difference is it can contain many values, and it will contain values like property and value, like it's a name value pair or key value pair, right? So the the data in can contain many data, but it'll have a name and a value for it. It's a name, the value for it. Right? That is how objects are. Okay, these are also variables. Okay, you can say it's a collection of named values. These values, right? There are many values like this, right? John, Doe, 50, blue. These are the values, right? These are named values because there's a name given to that. Correct? So objects are nothing but named values. For every value, you are giving a name for it. For this value, you are giving a name. For this value, you are giving a name for it. So collection of named values. That's what is object. Okay. So usually we declare with const because we don't want to change the object. Okay. Um, the named values, right? These are also called as properties. A property and value. These are the property and this is the value for it. Okay, so this is what is mainly objects, right? Objects are also nothing but variables which contain collection of named values. Okay, so we saw objects, right? So and it can also contain methods, right? When you go to methods, you will understand. See, this is an object. It contains a name and a value. Name and the value can be a function also. Okay, so here if you want to access, if you using the object, this is a person's object, right? Using the object you can call the function. Okay, so full name is the function, right? So this function will be getting called in this function. For this object, what is the first name? Is John. So this pointer, right? This keyword, this is a keyword. It refers to the object with which you call the function. Okay, so this you call the function with person object, right? So this will refer to the person object. So person dot first name, what will be? Person first name is John. Correct? Person first name is John. Last name is Doe. So you are adding both the things and you're returning. And that is what you're putting in inner HTML, right? And so that is what will get displayed here. Instead of this dot last name, I'm putting ID. So first name will be John. This ID will be converted to a string and joined, right? And it will be John 5566. Okay. So this is what is an object. It's a collection of named values in JavaScript. You'll have a name and a value for it. For all, and it contains many values like this. And one of the value can be function also. So this is what is a method. This is what is the object method. And that is what is the object method. Okay, and we saw this also. Now how to display an object? You can see there are different ways where you can display the object. Okay, you can just use the object name itself. If you use the object name, it will come in. You can have a look. If you use the object name, right, it will just display object. No value is coming. Okay, if you want to display any value, you have to use the corresponding name. Okay, see now name is coming. Okay, can you put like this instead of dot? It is undefined. You have to use dot. Okay. Okay. So this is how you have to display the values. Okay, you have to use each name and you can display the values, or you can also display the value in a loop. Like in a loop, right? You can also loop over, right? You can loop over object we saw. We cannot use half, but you can use in. In what it will give? It will give the names. First time X will be name, second time X will be age, third time X will be city. Okay, so you are just indexing over this, and then you are storing in text. So first a person of name will be John. So John will be added, then 30 will be added, then New York will be added. So in a loop, when you use, right, we have to use the square bracket. Dot operator will not work. Okay, and you can also get the values using values. Just object dot values of person, right? All the values will come in an array. Okay, so what are the values? John, 30, New York, right? All the values will be coming in an array, and that array you are assigned to inner HTML. Okay, so all the values are getting printed. So this is a different way of assessing data in an object, right? You can use dot operator. You can go over a loop. For in loop, you can use go over the loop and use and assess. Okay, you can use values of object dot values and assess. So there are different ways you can assess the variable object values. So let's have what are assessors. See, in object oriented programming, right, we call something as getter and setter. Okay, getter is basically this is an object, right, and getters are used to get the data, setters are used to set the data. So this getter, right, you have to use get and some function. This gets the what is the language, it returns the language. Okay, now how to call this function is very simple. Just person dot lang, this function will be called. Is a getter, this person dot lang. Okay, and there is setter also. This setter, right, is used to set some value. This language property, right, it is null. Okay, this setter is used to set a value, so you have to pass the value. You pass the language, it sets that in the corresponding property. Okay, to call this function, just assign a value to that. This function will be called. This is a syntax. You need not call language or something and all. Just assign it and this function will be called. Got it? Okay. These are the getters and setters. Okay. Okay. So this you can have a normal function also, right? So instead of get, you can have a normal function. You can call the function. That function can return something, and that value will be returned here. That is also that way also you can have a getter. Okay. Okay, this is example. What is the difference between these two examples, right? Here is a normal function. Here you have a get, correct? Here you have to assess as a function, right? You have to call like this. Here you have put a get, right? Just use the then you need not call the function. Got it? No need to put the bracket here. Just use the person dot name. This is enough. But previously, if you don't use this get keyword, you have to call a function like this explicitly. Okay, so these are the assessors, which is getters and setters. Okay, and you have something called as constructor. See, before how did you create an object? You created an object using const person and then first name this one, last name this one, like this you created, right? Okay, you can also have a constructor for it. Okay, here this is a constructor, right? This is the object, this is a class object name. You pass the values and then you assign the values to the respective property. This way also you can create an object. Before you used a const and variable name, right? Instead of that you can use a function, right? Constructor is a function which has the name same as a object name. Okay, so to create an object for this, right, Just create it, new person, and then pass the different values. Now the object will be created and the object is assigned to my father. Got it? Before, how you created, you put constant person equal to then first name colon something you put, right? This is another way of you can have a constructor and also create an object like this. For that you have to use the new keyword. See, JavaScript set is a collection of unique values, right? Set is what collection of data. So this set, new set, right, is a collection of data, right? But this can have only unique values. You cannot have same values. Okay, you can create like this, or you can create a set and you can keep on adding to it. Okay, these are the different function available in set, right? Set you can also use for each loop in a set. Okay, but you'll have only unique values. Okay, you can use add to add method. Okay, what is map? Map holds a key value pair. When you create a map, right, it will have a key and it will have a value. Okay, so you can use, if you once you create a map, right, you can use the set function to create a map. So this is the key and this is the value. Okay, and how to access the data which you have set, right? You can call get. Get of happens, it will get the value for that 500. So 500 is coming. So map is the nothing but the key value pair. It shows a key and a value pair. Okay, you can use set and get function. There are many other functions in map also. Map.size will return you the size of the map. You can also delete a map. Okay, so delete clear. So I recommend, right, to go through the W3 schools. If you have any doubts, right, go through the W3 schools. Whenever you need it, that time go through it. Like when you are creating an application, when you need it, that time go to W3 schools. It will be more appropriate. Don't try to read everything, just the theory alone. You'll obviously forget.